changed or anything like that. Most of the big name places are supposed to do like a basic inspection of your car to see if there's anything that needs to be done, and then they'll suggest your services based off of what they see. So the main things under here are your oil, which is right here, your air filter, which really that can be over here, over there, and stuff like that, but it's going to be a big box like this, and that's where your air filter is inside there. Brakes, this is always going to be on the driver's side in the back of your engine bay. Stuff, your brakes, because right up under there's a big cylinder that connects to your steering wheel and to your brake pedal. That's where your brake system is always going to be. It's right here. Okay. Then you got coolant. You don't ever open your coolant while your car is hot. Your car has to be completely cooled down from running temperature if you want to open this reservoir right here. If you open it while it's hot, it's going to blow up in your face. Like it's going to hot steam into your face. So don't ever open that. You got washer fluid. This one is pretty self-explanatory. You can spill washer fluid all over the place and stuff like that. It don't really matter. They're supposed to fill this up too when you go in and stuff. That's just like a courtesy thing that they do. Right here is my battery. This is where it is on my car. It is generally on the driver's side. Some of the foreign cars like BMWs and Lexus, it'll be on the other side. But you got your positive right here. And then I think I have to clip and take this off to get to the negative. So if I wanted to check or charge my battery, I have to take this casing off to be able to do that. But most of them, you'll see them right there on the top. The black one is always going to be the negative. The red one is always going to be the positive. When you putting the battery on to check or to charge it, or somebody's giving you a jump, black first, then red. Okay. So with your oil, it'll tell you on the cap right here. I'm gonna take this off so y'all can see it. It's gonna tell you on your cap what type of oil your car takes and stuff. So mine also has this Dexos on here because this specific car and most of the newer Chevys have to have this type of oil or else it's gonna mess your engine up. So it'll tell you 5W30 is what I need for mine. This is like your weight and viscosity, how thick the oil is. So that's weight. It's either going to be a 0 or a 5. This can range from 20 to 30 to 40. Again, most of the cars take either 30 or 20. So that's extra stuff you don't need to know about, but it's right there. So if you got to run in, your engine oil is low or something like that, you got to run to a gas station or somewhere, just look on that cap and then go in and buy that oil. And stuff. You can get that at gas stations or anywhere. If y'all can see, because mine's kind of low down there, this yellow dipstick right here, most of the cars, that dipstick is going to be yellow, but it's going to be somewhere close by this cap. That stuff, this dipstick right here, if you check in your oil, okay, so you pull this out and you wipe it, and then you put it back in there and dip it again, and then you pull it out and hold it sideways, and that'll tell you your oil level. There'll be a unit of measurement on the stick, and if you're within that unit of measurement, you're good. But you also want to look at it and see what the color is, what it looks like. We got an oil change not that long ago, so it's a little bit brown, but if you see them like dark brown, like color garments, dark brown, you need your oil change.
Say I'm dirty.
Yeah, every 3,000 to 5,000 miles, you gotta get your oil changed. Some of the newer cars is like 9 or 10,000, but about 5,000 miles you need to go get your oil changed. That's 5 months, 5,000 miles, whichever one comes first. Again, with brake fluid, that's not something you really want to do yourself unless you know what you're doing, but you can check it. So like if you have a flashlight in your car, you can just take it and put it up to this and it'll show you the level. It'll be a measurement, minimum and maximum on the side of the reservoir here, and you can just shine it in. If it looks real dark and dirty, or if it looks like it's getting low, then take it in somewhere and they'll service your brakes, because they got to flush all the old brake fluid out and then put new in there. You can't just kind of like keep putting brake fluid in and stuff. You can't do it like that. Stuff like washer fluid and batteries and air filters and stuff, that stuff is super simple. It's gonna be a little bit dirty, but all you have to do to change your air filter is unscrew these screws. This thing will pop off, and then you just pull the air filter out and put a new one in there. It's super easy.
How often should you change your transmission fluid?
It depends on your car, because a lot of the cars now, like this car is a 2013, and the transmission fluid is in a closed system, so you can't just go in and change the transmission fluid. I want to say it's between between 30 and 50,000 miles that you change it and go take it in to get changed. But with a lot of these closed systems, you have to get behind the wheel, and there's a little valve. You have to open it, drain it, and stuff. But you got to take half this stuff off to be able to get to put more in it and stuff. So it's a complicated process. Now, if you got an older car, like 2010s or older, then that's a lot easier, because you'll have a dipstick and a reservoir just like the engine for the engine oil, and that you can just drain it and then pour it in and stuff, which is pretty much what we do with the oil change and
So
stuff
the
like
dipstick, will be the same type of coloring you're looking for? Like
It'll be
dark?
different.
Oh.
Power steering fluid is usually black, and then transmission, I've seen a lot of them either black or green,
Okay.
and sometimes red too.
So if it needs to be changed, you're not looking at color, you're just looking at miles on the car.
Right. That one you have to kind of go by mileage, or if your car is doing something where it's like if you want to change gears and it's like grinding, or it's real hard for you to change the gear shift, then you need to go have a transmission. Especially if you're not driving a standard, you're not driving a stick shift, and you start grinding like that, then you need to go get that. But like I said, most of this stuff is really basic and stuff like that. Like you can just flip this open and fill this up with washer fluid. It's fine. But I know with the oil filter, like the oil filter itself costs maybe like $10-15, but if you come in to do the service, you look at maybe 30, 40, possibly 60, depending on where you go and what type of mechanic you get for like air filters and stuff like that. But it's super easy to change it. There was also one other thing, like checking your fluids and stuff, like checking and making sure your coolant is at the right level. Again, not something you want to try to do yourself if you don't know what you're doing, because you can just pour more coolant in there, but it needs to be flushed for the system to work properly.
But if your car, let's say you're out on the road somewhere and your car starts to overheat, so the temperature gauge rise,
Right.
then can you put some in? I mean, of course you got to be
You can
careful
put water.
in the coolant thing.
Right.
Yeah.
So like if you on the side of the road, you start seeing steam, you looking at the gauge on your dashboard, and that where it's got that C and that H, and it's starting to go to where it's too hot, that's always going to be a coolant issue. The long-term problem could be a hose, it could be a thermometer or something like that, but short-term, just for you to be able to get home or get to where you want to go, let it sit for a little bit, like maybe 20 to 30 minutes. It's hot outside, so you might need to let it sit for a little bit longer and stuff. You can slowly open this, and if it start hissing and stuff real, then you want to just kind of close it back a little bit and then leave it for a little bit longer. But when you pulling it off and stuff like that, if it's not really hissing or anything, let it cool down. You pull this off, you can just pour water in here, and just straight up water. It don't really matter what kind and stuff. Don't want to be like sparkling water.
Okay, so now one of my mechanics, he's a NASCAR race car driver mechanic, and he said that on your radiator, for the radiator fluid, you want to make sure that it's best to put distilled water in there. Any water is good, but distilled water is better because it'll keep it from corrosing.
Right.
And stuff.
Yeah, because like a lot of the water that you get has got minerals.
Yeah,
and
so
stuff
that's
like
what
that.
he always
So if
telling
you
me
have
that.
it,
Yeah,
if you have it, distilled
right.
water, and keeping a jug of water in your car, in your trunk and stuff, is always a good idea.
And it becomes
But,
distilled too.
Yeah, and you can get distilled water.
Right.
Like I got a whole bunch of little water bottles in the back and stuff from going to the land and having water. I keep them in there for just that reason, in case I need to put something in the cooler. But you can take this off, pour water in there until it gets to the max line, and then that'll get you where you need to go and keep the engine cool long enough for you to at least like get off the road or get to a gas station. Gas stations have engine oil, they have coolant, they can fix a flat, all that stuff at almost all the gas stations and stuff. You can just get that again, let it cool off, pour it in there, and that'll get you where you need to go to get whatever it is fixed.
And the caps. You can get those caps to where it's got the red tip on it, where you can release some of the pressure out of it before you open it up.
Right. The caps.
All right.
Again, under the hood, I don't want y'all to get dirty or anything like that. There's a couple of other things that I'll show y'all later on, like with the headlights and stuff, because a lot of the newer cars now you got to take the whole bumper off to get to the headlight. So changing the headlight used to be real simple. You could just pop the light out and do it, and it was like $50 or whatever. But now it can cost you up to $200 just to get a headlight fixed. Because they have to take the whole bumper apart.
That's right.
Thankfully, with my car, I could take the bumper off, but down here in the wheel well, there's a little circle-shaped door here that I can twist off, and I can just reach right in and under the light and put the light in and stuff, so it's a lot easier. But some cars don't have that. Like if you have like a Chevy Malibu, it's like a 2019, 2022 or something like that, you gotta take the whole bumper off.
Awesome. Let's give, because of time. So
I have 15 minutes.
I know our next class will go over changing the tire.
Yes, it's not as difficult. It's gonna be a sweaty job because we're in Texas, but it's not that hard to change.
Awesome. Let's give our sister a round of applause, y'all. Thank you so much. All praises due to Allah. Knowledge is power.